Today on Tech Talk, we're talking all the normal technology news, but we're also talking gifts. It's holiday season time, so come back and we'll give you our picks.
Hey, glad you could stay with us. I'm Mike Thompson here with Dwayne Rigsby and Kingsley Meyer. And it is the end of November, and as we always do, we're talking what can you buy in the technology world for Christmas. And then, I don't know if you have something a little bit more in the tech news world you want to talk about?
We can always talk about tech news, but I think like the overriding theme for our picks for the holidays is that there hasn't really been a year of new technologies, but
Not
there's
terrible.
always new products.
New products.
And
Absolutely.
Maybe
new products.
improved, but not a new thing.
Sure.
Right.
I mean, new laptops, new cameras, new everything, but you know, you can't go wrong buying me technology for Christmas. So, you know, was it Black Friday, Cyber Monday? I don't care. Just, you know, send them via this address on the bottom of the screen.
There you go.
And then,
there you go.
what's your rule?
Oh, I was going to close with it. I'll start with it and I'll repeat it.
Yeah, we can always.
If you gift it for the holidays, you support it for the rest of your life.
Right.
If you give Grandpa an iPad, you support that iPad.
Right.
Because Grandpa doesn't know how.
So pick out something you know.
Yeah, and don't get in your car after, you know, everybody else is falling asleep and doze off and then drive home. You have to set it up. You got to take care of passwords. You got to get everything so that it's working and the user understands it.
Right.
So, easier said than done. We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
Tech Talk News. I don't know how many people follow all of the news. We certainly do. But the thing that really stood out in my mind over this last month, and I'm the guy that says, do your updates, do your updates, do your updates. Boy, did we get killed by Microsoft in the last update thing. There are so many computers out there that run Windows 10, and when they go ahead and they issue a release, they go through alpha and beta testing, and then when they released it into the public distribution, things just backfired. They had 1/100th of 1% of the users had a major problem, which was 700,000 people lost their files. And so they pulled it back. And when we got the next release, we found out that it killed our Internet Explorer browser, which is using its own version of Java that...
When you say Explorer, is that the same as Edge? Or you?
Excuse me, you're correct.
Yeah.
It is Edge.
Okay.
It is Edge. I'm sorry. And the Edge browser no longer worked outside of a domain. Again, in certain circumstances, it just didn't work. So the people that support the enterprise got in there and spent a lot of time finding out what broke and how to fix it. And we were just half step ahead of chaos here on campus.
Right.
But you know, I also heard that that Siri is now going to be using the Google search engine. And so Tim Cook hasn't been too vocal on this, but the thought is that Apple does no harm. You know, they don't mess around with people's information and data. Yet the search engine that they're now using behind the artificial intelligence of Siri is actually Google.
Google.
And so they do.
They do.
Yeah, their whole business model is based on that.
I wonder if they're going to use Maps, the Google Maps instead of the Apple, because they just went around and redid the maps, I thought, you know, the whole back end of it. And there was one day I was sitting in an intersection and I saw both the Google and the Apple map vehicles running around.
Really?
Yeah, well, they were in the
I've
same
never
place
seen
almost
them.
the same
That'd be
time.
cool.
So Street View. I didn't
Yeah.
know. I didn't know the Apple Maps had a Street View. I'm sorry. But
It's not as good as Google's, but I
Nothing's
think they're
as good
working
as
on
They
it.
may have something
did
similar.
you hear about the wife that saw a picture on Street View of her husband out with another woman and filed for divorce?
Really?
And the court backed her up.
There's all kinds of stuff
I'm
like
telling
that.
you, things that you can just find on the
Tech
internet.
Talk Trivia. We get it
Yeah.
here.
That was, who knows, that could have been 10 years ago, yeah.
So is there anything else? We haven't had a lot of breaches. We have
Nope.
found out that people are misusing information and not
Yeah.
being honest. But I don't think there's been anything outstanding. So quieted down for the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a great meme today, but I can't share it with you because it's mean-spirited. It has to do
Okay.
with raking leaves.
Okay, gotcha.
Anyhow,
So
you want to go to the gifts?
we might as well go to the gifts. I mean, the news is
We can find
boring.
something to talk
We
about.
always have that old, somebody hacked into something.
So Pat, see if we can pull up. Now-
Oh, look at this.
Remember when we did Tech Talk Jeopardy?
Yep,
So what is this?
this would be a portal.
It's a portal. Yeah.
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 Kingsley, what is a portal? That's what I'm supposed to say.
Kingsley,
What is a portal?
Make it a full sentence.
Yeah.
It seems that every chat program now has video chat.
Yeah.
And in our case, the Facebook company went Facebook Messenger, Facebook Video Chat, and now they have their own hardware device called the Portal. And there's a Portal Plus, which is the vertical one, and it actually does facial tracking. So if you move a little bit to the left, the camera's going to adjust for it. The ads look pretty neat, but this is a very vendor-specific product for a very specific messenger protocol. It's
Yeah.
not going to work with Skype. It's not going to work with Zoom. It's not going to work
You
with
can't just use it as a
FaceTime.
camera.
Nope. No.
It's tied into their infrastructure, and that's
Yeah.
it.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like, didn't Amazon have their one as well?
Yeah. Yep. And
That has the same principle.
we have sort of a picture of
Yeah.
something like that a little bit
Later.
later. But
there's all the different kind of
we are
messengers.
supporting cute little emojis so that you can dress up your pictures.
Oh.
I'm sorry, there's not enough time in the day for me to have a flower headband on
Yeah.
my messenger. But this is the way things are being done now. Now the dark side of all this
Yeah.
is, do I really trust Facebook?
Facebook.
And again, I'm the naysayer that doesn't really trust much of the company. Facebook itself is a company that was social media, and then all of a sudden they had to come up with a business strategy that allowed them to make money in order to be able to pull it off.
Yeah, you got to survive.
And so they sold ads,
Yep.
and some of the ads collected data and working arrangements so that you would have a company that would gain some information, some marketing benefit from that information. And the one that Mark had to go and defend was their decision to use a company called Cambridge Analytica. And he made a point that the company made a mistake and they were not responsible. So this last week, the latest scandal has been that during this time, they had hired a company called Definers Public Affairs,
Okay.
and that they discredited any efforts that they had made to provide misinformation out there about how responsible Facebook was. And you'd have to go specifically into which
Yeah.
companies they attacked.
Yeah.
Kind of like, pay no attention to how bad I am here. Look at how awful those companies are there.
All right.
And Sheryl Sandberg and Mark Zuckerberg both have said, we have no idea. We didn't even know that our company had hired them.
Cambridge. Yeah.
Like, really?
Yeah.
You are the highest paid,
Well,
people in the IT industry in the Valley.
Yeah.
You got to be aware of what's going on.
You got to be aware with your company. I agree.
And again, I tend to worry about social media. I've been on it, here recently for some promotional things for Giving Tuesday, because we're doing Giving Tuesday, and I know I can count on you to support our
Absolutely.
camera project.
There
But
you go.
it's one of those things. You just have to be very careful what information you're putting out.
Absolutely. I agree.
So let's get some fun gifts out.
Yeah.
Now, this is the Google Workspace or Hub. What is it
Yeah.
called?
Hub.
Home Hub.
Yep.
And
Home-
then
yeah.
the Alexia is on the other
right.
side.
Yep.
And that one has a camera. The other one does not.
So it's just Alexa with a a screen and
Yeah.
a camera.
Yeah. Now, I have a really old Sony alarm clock at home. It doesn't work with the radio at all. And I'm thinking that would be pretty cool.
I have actually replaced my alarm clock, which broke not too long ago, with just the dot. The
dot?
Yeah, and it works great.
Right.
I control it all by my phone, or I can just say, "Hey, you know."
I
I'll
tell
not
my phone
say
to
the
get me
word.
up in the morning.
Yeah.
And it does reliably.
Yeah.
And the dogs wake up an hour before to get me up. So,
Yeah.
You know, between the two, I'm here on time.
Yeah.
Yep,
I've
yep.
got dogs and a wife, and we
You got
kind of
enough
wake
alarm
up
clocks.
spontaneously. We don't set alarms.
Yeah.
We just kind of like, you know, we're old enough. We're like, we're open.
Yeah.
We're
It's
awake.
that time of day. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have tabletop devices on our bedside table
Yeah.
that are listening to the sweet nothings that we describe, pillow talk.
Yep.
Do
Absolutely.
we trust that?
No.
Sounds like a good idea for a new show. How about Pillow Talk?
Pillow talk with your technology.
So, Mike, you said something about a Roomba earlier today.
Yeah. So that's a Roomba.
So
Put a camera on it or something?
Well,
that'd be a good.
I don't know if they've made any improvements on the Roomba, but if you have dogs and cats in the house and this thing's creeping around your house during the day, it might be a cool idea to have a camera taking pictures or video during the day and see what your dogs, or if they're hiding on the couch
Or what they're doing.
attacking this thing or what. Or maybe the cat's riding around on it.
Well, hey,
But
Be interesting.
under the columns for all the magazines that talk about the top technology gifts, Roombas on every single one of them. So feel comfortable that I would accept a Roomba.
you would accept
Accept
one.
it. And I don't know if you have a Google Chromecast or a Fire
I forgot a Fire.
TV.
or Apple TV, but the whole idea of plugging something into the HDMI port and cutting the cord from your cable
Yeah.
or satellite provider.
We did that a
It's
couple
huge
years.
right now.
Do you
We
have
did cut the cord.
You still?
No.
do you have
But
Dish
we
Network?
did for a few.
I do not.
Okay.
I have
we
cable.
have DirecTV.
One of the major satellite providers
Mm-hmm.
has gotten into a content licensing dispute with HBO. And
Yeah.
so they have now pulled HBO off of my satellite system. So I can't
They're
get
going to have to
HBO.
get that fixed before April.
Uh-oh.
What's April?
Game of Thrones
Game
comes
of
back
Thrones.
on.
Comes back on. Oh, yeah, we got
That's the big draw.
What's going to happen is you're going to see a lot of
Cord
customers
cutters.
abandon ship
Yeah.
and leave that one satellite provider for the
other
other
one.
satellite provider. And guess who owns them? The same company
Same
that owns
com-
HBO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can get into a contract dispute with one vendor and say, we're going to make it so hard for you to use it, they're all going to move to the other one.
They're
And
forcing
now,
them.
and now you get both sets of revenue streams.
Well,
Think that will pass,
And AT&T is together with DirecTV also.
I didn't mention them by name. You're right.
Oh.
It's our, one of the original communications monopolies in the
yeah,
country.
true.
Anyhow,
But
anything
there is
else?
there is a lot of them bundling with a cell phone provider.
Yeah.
Whether it's HBO or if it's Netflix. It seems like I see a lot of that coming in right now. It's like, oh, you go AT&T and you get HBO free, or go Sprint or whatever the other ones, and you get Netflix free. Is that a
Trend.
Wow.
Let's say it's a
You
trend.
think it's a trend?
But it's
And
hard to follow because it's so complicated.
Yeah,
It
because
changes.
it's like, well, I want Netflix, but I need this other carrier.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
So do you want to explain to your grandfather which one to
Yeah,
go and how to
no.
do it? And
no.
like whatever happened to my telephone? It used to
Yeah.
come in on a wire. Now all of a sudden it's
Yeah.
why does my iPad ring when
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's still this. Mike, you said you did cord cutting for a couple of years, or what made you come back?
It might have been some of those special programs like that.
Was it?
Like, Game of Thrones and different
Okay.
things.
All right. I mean, did you find it difficult?
Oh, and AT&T gave us a really good deal
Okay.
on DirecTV because
Okay.
we already, we're
Yeah, you're on
with
server-
AT&T.
yeah. Yep.
So they gave us a really good deal. It wasn't like
Okay.
$80 a
So
month. It
so
was
that's
like,
more of the reason. So
Yeah.
but when you were on with no wire, and you're done with it. Did you find it difficult to find stuff, or it was just by nature it worked for you? Because I've been
It
talking
wasn't a
about
hardship.
that. I've been talking about it at my house, and some of the response I get is, I just want to turn the TV on and watch what I normally watch at the same time.
That was the one thing I think I missed. I don't think my wife missed it too much. Was the DVR capabilities,
Yeah.
where you can just go ahead and record and watch it whenever you want. You had to all the show's on,
Yeah,
so
it's
we
time
got
to
sit
go
down.
watch it.
Right.
Yeah. Do you do cord cut? Do you do that, or are you still the traditional?
We're paying $130 a month
Yeah.
for multiple TVs,
Uh-huh.
and we do have a DVR, but
Yeah.
we're not using it as much.
You don't use
There, when you have Netflix and Hulu
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Amazon Prime, you get to choose what you want to watch and you stream it on
Anytime.
demand.
Yeah.
And if you're using the smart TV and you're going in and saying, I want to look at CBS News, NBC News, and you have all of those channels, then you're watching it, and they do put ads in them,
Yep.
but it's not the local car dealership and stuff like
Right.
that.
Right.
We haven't done it yet because I haven't mapped out the shows that other people in our house watch and how they could go about getting it when they want a little. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
House Hunters or
Yeah.
flip,
Yeah.
flea market flip and all those
Yeah.
things. If those channels show up on a smart TV or a device like Fire or Chrome or Apple TV, Roku, maybe that would happen.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of money every month.
It
and,
is.
And then,
It
then
is.
when they take out my Game of Thrones and Westworld
Yeah.
and John Oliver tonight and Bill Maher,
Yep.
yeah, I am not a happy man. I'm not a
Yeah.
happy man. Let's see what else we got.
Yeah.
Get off of that.
Huh.
Yep.
There we go.
So
Okay.
Is that the Ring,
Ring on the right.
which
and
is
is that a nest? That's a nest on the left, right?
yeah. So having cameras everywhere.
Yes.
I heard the best way to get rid of your trash is to put it in an Amazon box and leave it on the front steps.
Oh yeah. That works. Yeah. Yeah.
That, I heard it from Mike.
Yeah.
But
Well, I enjoy the Amazon now. You can put the Amazon door lock, and they can just leave your stuff in the house, right?
yeah, not doing it.
Oh, come on! I've heard people start doing that now.
Well, I saw a delivery person that went and was looking at their phone. Then all of a sudden, a possum came out of the bushes and he just dropped it and ran.
Ran?
But
Nice.
cameras,
Yeah.
you can't be shy, and it's like having a camera by your bedside table and your dot. What's it listening to, and do you really trust it? What happens when the power goes out? Blah blah blah.
Right.
But Internet of Things is still out there,
Yes.
and you're
They're
going to
only getting
find
more.
certain generations of people that embrace it and others don't. Is it Gen X? Is it Gen Z? Is it the millennials? Who is receptive to it and who is not?
I know we got cameras on our phones, but there's also, I saw an infomercial over the weekend where there's a little camera that you can put and hide different places around your house and clip it onto your child when they go to school. The example was the kid was getting bullied, and they clipped this camera onto the kid, and they found out who was bullying him, and they took that to the principal and solved the problem. But
then the kid was beat up by everybody on the playground for being
Yeah.
such a snitch.
Yeah.
But now you got a camera this big, and you gave it to an 8-year-old. Where else is he going to put that thing?
Oh, don't go there.
I mean,
Don't go there.
Yeah.
you don't know where these cameras could show up.
Well, maybe they didn't know it was a camera.
Oh, I bet the kid
You
did.
think so? Interesting.
I don't know if he'd go pick a fight then.
Okay, so let's just those cameras, and we've got
Okay,
there's
so
the lock. And
so the Amazon is going to unlock your door, and
Yep.
you're going to have somebody come in and do it. And the same company that I think Google bought
Yep.
runs the thermostats now. So an Internet of Things. I just I'm okay with it. I've got my house so that I'm working on with all my lights and
Yep.
everything.
Yep.
And I learned something new.
Okay.
Never say you don't learn something new.
Oh.
What I found out is that if I name my lights something very complicated, it's hard to tell it to turn them on. So make them short and sweet,
Yep.
and then I can just simply say, turn on gray, instead of turn on gray building outdoor
Oh,
light. That
nice.
it's learned now that every time that gray is in that phrase, I want the outside light.
Okay.
So it's adaptive.
Okay. And you're using a Google appliance.
I'm using a Google Home connected to a Samsung Smart Hub.
Okay.
So my Smart Things is what's doing it. And now the Smart Things Hub comes on Samsung TVs. So you don't actually have to buy it; it's built in.
It's built in.
And they have their the wireless stuff too for your
Okay,
Wi-Fi.
let's go back to that picture there.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got, that's like a Nest, but it's made by Honeywell.
Yep.
I kind of like the idea of those.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't know if it will work on my specific geothermal system, but I think when they start publishing that this is the same as that and that and that, and they're all basically the same. And
Talking the same language.
And they talk to each other. I'm going to go with the company that I know is going to update them so that you don't end up with an Internet of Things intrusion because they found some flaw in them and they didn't update them.
Yeah.
Some
I
cheap
agree.
stuff.
Okay.
I agree.
Next.
Now,
Camera.
they say that there's a throwback, and we saw this when they had little square Polaroid pictures.
Yeah.
This one's supposed to be a film camera, and I don't even know where you get that
Film.
developed. But
a
Mike,
good
Like 35 millimeter?
no, I don't know what format that is.
Okay.
But when I looked up cameras, they came up with the high def on the drone, and we always like drones.
yeah, drones are cool.
good.
Every
And they're-
TV station has one now,
Right.
Oh yeah. I
They're
like
getting
it.
more regulated, so read your rules.
and I think it's amazing to see the pictures of the forest fires from drones.
Oh, yeah.
Just hopefully they don't get in the way of the helicopters. They're doing water drops.
Oh, wouldn't that be? That'd be a
So-
disaster.
Phones.
Yep.
We say there's not new technologies. There's just newer technologies and new products.
Improved with some
So
different features.
Apple has a whole new line of everything
Yeah.
from iPads to MacBook Airs to the phones,
Mm-hmm.
and then Google came out with a new Pixel, and there's a zillion other brands too.
Yeah.
So there's just a whole ton of them. I think the next one's kind of interesting. We got the watches, and there's a
Yeah.
Series 4 watch. My Series 2 and Series 3 aren't good anymore. I have to have a
Oh.
Series 4.
Yep.
Gifting opportunities.
I see.
Now,
But-
the thing I was looking up, I've got some issues, heart issues, and so I thought, well, the 4 might be kind of cool. So I
an
looked at
EKG.
it. Yeah, but to get a proper EKG, you need more than one place. And
Buy
to get,
two.
There you
yeah.
go. It's an idea right there.
There you go.
And it doesn't take the EKG all the time. You have to be touching the little knob on the watch to get that. And it doesn't do a lot of different things. It basically looks for arrhythmias, which
So
a lot of people might have arrhythmias
So it might be
that don't
just
have a
a
real
knob.
problem,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't recognize my problems.
Okay.
So I
But it-
was
yeah, okay.
interested, now not interested. It's not. It doesn't do as many things as I thought.
Yeah.
I hope they take returns.
Yeah, me too.
But they do have a thing you can hook up to your phone where you can put your hands on it, and that'll take an EKG and send that to your doctor.
So an extra device.
So foldable phones and non-foldable tablets.
I really like the foldable phone. I'm not quite sure.
Because yours takes up too much space, or because
No,
it's cool?
I just need. No, my eyes are getting worse, so I need a bigger phone. But if I fold it, then it'll be the same size.
So you need an iPad-sized phone.
Yeah, that will fold, and then if I could get an iPad to fold like that, that'd be great.
I
in my
don't know if
case, an Android.
this was a problem needing a solution or.
Yeah, I'm not sure, and I'm not so sure how well that screen's going to hold up.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what it's made of.
Well, I'm not sure if it's foldable or there's a hinge in the middle. I don't know enough about the product, but
Yeah,
I think it's
whatever
it's
that
probably hinged.
whatever that cover is.
yeah.
If it's
And really,
Yeah.
would you get a brand new tablet and then see how much flex there is
Yeah.
in it until it breaks?
right.
Depends on who's paying me.
Well, that's
you know-
that's from a magazine, and
Yeah.
they're saying these things are so thin these days.
Yeah.
And if you've thrown them in your purse or side bag,
Yeah.
your man bag,
Yep, yep.
are you going to protect it? Now what you need is a larger case to give it the rigidity, and now you're back at the same
You're
thing.
back in the same
Right.
size.
That
Yeah.
whole new line of cases. It's good for the economy because there's a whole bunch of new products
Yeah.
to go with all those devices.
And hopefully, going back to another show,
Yeah.
hopefully you don't have those little chips embedded on the circuit
All
boards.
the little rice thing
Oh,
you were talking
you
about
remember?
before.
That
Well, there's-
magazine article has been disputed, and
Yeah,
I don't
lots
think
of-
we really know the truth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're saying that's not true. But how do we know that for sure? You know, that's always a good question.
I question all my sources. Now,
I question technology in general.
you can get me either one of those. We have a gift giving limit of under $50.
Okay.
So both of these are under $50. So
Now, you
Are
have
these
to
just
refresh me on a
Bluetooth
couple
or-
of these.
okay.
Are they all
Fingerprint scanner on the left,
Yep.
so that you can just swipe your fingerprint.
Yep.
And I'm thinking authentication and security here.
Yep. Yep.
And the
I can get
other
that.
one is both USB-C and straight USB.
Mm-hmm.
You can put those in there, and it's your authentication
Okay,
token.
that's what I thought.
So a lot of places are, saying, give me your eye scan, give me your fingerprint.
Yep. And it
Well,
supplies it.
and so these two devices are the next generation of how we do two-factor authentication. And I think that's pretty cool. A number of
Yeah.
companies have gone on. Is it UB? I think it's
Yeah. Yes.
UB.
UB. Yep.
They've really been endorsed by a number of companies.
You think that's the next two-factor? It will be.
Well, I don't know about next. I think they're already out there.
Well, I think they're there. I just think it's
It's probably on your preference.
right now. It's all
Now,
the
if all
majority is code.
employees would come with something like that, and they would keep it in their ID card, they'd unclip it, stick it into their computer, and then log in with their password with the fingerprint scan, I'm pretty well sure that
Yeah.
a social engineering person is not going to
Right.
hack their account.
Right.
They're
Pat-
still clicking on the wrong stuff.
Well, yeah, let's not talk about
Yeah,
phishing.
they can still clear.
Pat, do we have an aircraft on there anywhere?
Oh, look at this.
I don't know if everybody's aware on Tech Talk, but
That's over our
Mike's
limit.
a pilot.
That's
Mike's a
our-
pilot.
yeah.
And when the bridge is congested, he wants something so he can hover and fly across to Point Pleasant to the Mothman Museum.
Yeah.
So
That'll get the
Wow.
job done. Looks like a hovercraft and dash plane.
I wanted you to have a luxury gift, but I can't get it under the tree.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
So we'll take it up from the river. We'll hover up to Rodney Village 2 and leave it in your front
Leave
yard.
it in the front. Yeah.
That works.
That works. Hey. Absolutely.
I don't know.
It should be fun.
Has that been a good enough overview?
That's quite a bit of stuff, and not to mention that there's anything brand new out there. It's all just improved.
Drones are
So,
drones.
Yeah.
Home hubs are home hubs.
Yep. And-
Cameras and locks have been around.
Yep.
And the Internet of Things, we've been looking at refrigerators and stuff, but we didn't buy one of those. Ones that keep track of what's in your refrigerator and the use-by dates, and the ones that got cameras in them that, I'm at the store, like, what's in there?
I
And you
tried to find an IoT Ninja or Instapot, and I couldn't find one.
Really?
But remember last year we had the
Yeah.
crock pot, so if your soccer game's going long, you can
Yep.
dial the temperature
Dial
back.
it up and
Yeah.
down. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
who will they think of
Great.
next?
Well, who knows?
I think that's about all the time
We're
we
out
got
of time,
now.
aren't we?
All right. Anyhow, be safe out there, and remember what we say. If you gift technology for the holidays, you support it. Thank you for watching.